Hey, how's it going? I'm 2D now. In our first Direct of the year, Nintendo and Co. announced a lot of new things that looked really cool. But what I want to talk about is the new Wii Sports game, Nintendo Switch Sports. The game's gotten a mixed reception to its reveal, and I know it's super late by now, but this video took me a long time to make, so don't leave me behind just because of that, come on. Quick heads up, I wasn't even thinking of making a video when I tried the demo, so aside from a few clips and screenshots I took, I have no real footage from that playtest. Though there was a whole legal thing about not uploading footage from the test, so maybe it's for the best. Firstly, for the uninitiated, what is a Wii Sports? I got my Wii back in 2011 or so, and it came bundled with Wii Sports and Resort. Wii Sports was something of a demo for the Wiimote's motion controls, and it had tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. There were 3 extra challenges tied to each sport, and the whole game was multiplayer with 2 or 4 people. The game was simple, but playing as a goofy avatar with motion control that allowed you to go wild in sports made it something more entertaining than your average sports game. The original was definitely a full game on its own, though it was packaged with every Wii and existed to be your first Wii game, I think. Wii Sports Resort was a much bigger game. It had 12 sports, most having 2 or 3 extra modes, some being completely different game modes, a big new island with its own lore on which all the sports took place, stamps in each sport for completing challenges, new and returning champions to face off against, and some really nice music, which Wii Sports also had. It was a fun duology that stayed a duology, until, 4 years after Resort, Wii Sports Club came out on Wii U. I haven't played Wii Sports Club, but apparently it's pretty good, so with the eShop closing down next year, I think I'll give it a shot. Even though it uses Wii Motion Plus and my Wii MP add-ons are barely functional. I can get the game physically, but it's already going for a bit much now, being Wii Sports Club, which I don't think anybody really played, nobody really talks about it, it just kinda exists. Did you play it? Was it good? What we have now is great, but the 4th game in the series is soon to drop on our heads. Nintendo Switch Sports, which will be coming April 29th. Okay, so off the rib, this is not what we were expecting with a new Wii Sports. Switch Sports seems to want to stand alone from the original games, to be, I don't know, Wii Sports 2, The Reawakening, or something. There's some good and bad about this decision, good being the music sounds appropriate for an evolution of the series, and the new motion effects look really nice, with bad being, obviously, the new look, as well as them taking the finish it later route again here. There are 6 sports that are finished. Tennis and bowling, returning from Wii Sports, and swordplay from Resort, now it's renamed Chambara. The new sports are football, which looks kind of fun, badminton, which looks potentially frustrating at a higher level, and volleyball, which I think is kinda lame for a first sport. Not as lame as golf, which is coming later in autumn. Nintendo loves their golf. And hopefully alongside or soon after its drop, we'll see the next sport to be added. I would say archery, but maybe boxing? I feel like the gyros would get messed up in boxing, though. Some of you may be thinking, or may have thought before trying the test, that due to the generic like Erica look of the game, the few available sports, and the finish it later thing, that Nintendo doesn't really care for Wii Sports the way we do. Luckily, I think the way we care is just different from Nintendo's. During the Direct, Takahashi-san asked us to partake of a playtest for the game to test the online. Originally I wasn't going to try it, plus my NSO had run out, but I decided to renew my subscription early, and let me tell you why I'm super glad that I did, because I am super glad that I did. In the playtest, we only got to play the returning sports, through random selection. This allowed us to directly compare them to the original versions, and while it's been a while since I played Wii Sports, I knew what I was looking for gameplay-wise. And lo and behold, they fully delivered. Bowling is now a 16-player elimination game, going from 16 to 8 to 5 to 3 to the winner, with 3 throws each round. Everyone throws at the same time, and the game feels just as good as on Wii. B, or ZR, is to be held until the ball is rolling. Twisting was tweaked a little bit, and we still have zooming, the motion controls worked great, and it's overall really good. Side note, my first 3 throws in my first game got me a turkey, plus I came first every round of that game. Very cool. Then in my second round, I came third, and after that, I never hit top 3 again. How did this happen? Of course, I checked, you can't throw the ball back and no one reacts to you dropping it, which is a shame, though it wouldn't have fit the new look anyway. The losers do go sit in the back though, and clap at strikes, which is nice. Tennis feels just as good as bowling did. This is looking good. They say to swing your Joy-Con gently, but obviously I didn't. I had wrist straps on the whole time though. These things are smaller than a Wii remote. The timing of your swing is still the main focus for sending the ball where you want, and the hit registration, I think, responds better than in the original. You can still swing your racket around like a wild buffoon, and smash serves are here, and I still don't know how to hit them properly, which is a good thing. They redid this one nicely. Also, your double now has a misty aura, which is a neat detail, though I don't think it looks that good. It's kind of basic. Let's go with the characters, I guess. We'll get to that. Swordplay plays exactly as Swordplay used to play, and Swordplay played nice, as it does now. Also, can we talk about the new swords? They added new swords, that's sick! Aside from the basic two-handed sword, we have one-handed charge swords, which build up strength from successful blocks, and holding L or R will give you a big swing. Twin swords are dual weld and build up power over time. Striking or blocking will boost that charge, and once they're fully charged, you swing both arms for a spin strike. You can also jab at your opponent, which knocks them back a lot, though I don't think it can penetrate a block. Good fun, very good fun. Looking forward to playing more of that online. Brief interruption. The Direct Showcase and the test only included the base versions of these sports, no challenges or extra modes like in the original games. But there is a bowling screenshot on Nintendo's website that shows a thin, presumably moving platform which confirms that the bowling challenge mode will come back. Now will we get 100 pin bowling? Will we get Speed Slice or Samurai Showdown? Any or all of the tennis challenges? Will the new sports have extra modes too? Will there be just one each or 2 or 3 like before? Who knows? Alright, back in it. Online. Nintendo Switch Online. After becoming a lag warrior in Super Mario Maker and just not getting to play Superstars Online, I had low expectations for this event. Though to be fair, I do play off Wi-Fi, so my experiences are irrelevant, but either way, even off Wi-Fi, the game ran way better than I could have expected. For the most part. Bowling had nothing that required direct interaction, so that worked fine, but tennis seemed to run perfectly. There were 2 or 3 balls missed throughout the whole of the 3 45-minute sessions I played, but I'm pretty sure there was a timing issue, just bringing it up because I'm not sure. As for Chambara, I played about 6 matches, and I did run into 2 CPUs, plus 1 round that had some pretty chunky lag. It wasn't unplayable, and I'd say it was an overall success. I do have high hopes for the game's online in the full release, but I could still see it getting stuffed up somehow, because, I don't know, Nintendo? I'll get the game for sure, but I'm still gonna give it a couple days to see how everyone's online experience goes. Gotta be careful with Wi-Fi. Now, aside from the online stability, this was the real surprising thing about the demo to me. The basic design of the new avatars immediately implied that Nintendo didn't care for Switch Sports to have any of that classic charm, much like the Switch's eShop and menus looking super clean but not having any music or themes. But so much of the charm of Wii Sports that I thought would be gone with a simple in a bad way art style came through in the animations for Tennis and Chambara. They nailed Tennis's animations, perfectly replicating the swinging motion from Wii Sports with a little jump but making it so satisfyingly smooth. Plus, those new swing effects hit nice. The avatars don't leap in the air like graceless dolphins anymore, but they still rocket across the court to catch the ball, further and way faster now. As for Chambara, the approach is lifted straight out of Resort. It's just exactly the same. You can even lift the tip of your sword to the screen when you finish off an opponent. I would do that all the time and it's still in. Still in! Woo-hoo! Crank down, Mickey Mouse! That feels special for some reason, and I love it. The thing that got me, and maybe you, down about the announcement was it being in a new place with new people. But they surprised me so much with the attention to detail in the animations that I'm actually willing to accept Nintendo's decision to do away with the classic Wii Sports look. However, I don't like it, and I have a whole analysis on the subject, so I hope you're ready for me to go on about the Miis. When I saw that sports come on screen during the Direct, I gasped in one of the maybe 3 audible reactions I had during it. The hype was real. And then we saw these!
Emotional damage! Where's the therapy button?
As I just said, what got me and a lot of other people down about the game was it being in a new place with new characters. We were expecting them to expand and improve on what we'd already known previously. We were expecting the new evolution to be about making the old stuff way better, not ripping out the floor and starting again. I saw these basic third-party WiiWare characters and my excitement just died. Why would you do that? Why would you take away the glory from our friends like that? Let's take a step back in time for a sec. While a lot of nice avatars exist in many different games, the Mii stand apart from all of them with their faces being a canvas for you to put whatever you want. Yourself, famous people and characters of all kinds, random shapes, a burger. They're recognizable, they're charming, and the Wii Sports titles were their first step to getting where they are now. I mean, come on, Woohoo Island. People have been wanting Woohoo Island to come back for years now, and it just isn't. Don't get me wrong, I think Seppuku Square looks great, all the environments are detailed and feel alive, plus I like the name. Seppuku. But I miss Woohoo. I thought for sure they would do the island justice, make it look really nice, and maybe even add a little more to it. But no, it's been retired and there's no way it's coming back. At least not in the sports series, but maybe they'll bring it back with something else? Tomodachi 3-quel? Oh, that'd be sick, actually. Going back to the characters themselves, I've seen some comparisons to Ninjala characters, and just looking at the faces, I get that. But something Ninjala has that these guys don't is character design. Our new friends have no such fallback. They're more like Sports Island or Go Vacation characters. Niche comparisons, I know. There is actually going to be clothing customization in the game, but we only get to see a handful of outfits now, and it's nothing impressive. We will get to unlock more clothing and accessories through play, which I do like, but for some reason it feels like an odd thing for Wii Sports specifically. Like, would you wear this when sword fighting above water? No, you wouldn't. Though if it was a gorilla costume in this image, I wouldn't be questioning it, so yeah, whatever. But you see, while it's certainly bad enough that Nintendo has pile-driven the legacy of the Miis into the dirt by using their first stepping stone against them, even that is almost undermined by what else makes this an actual kick to the chin. Miitopia. There are 3 Mii-centric games released on 3DS, and in May of last year, Nintendo released an HD remaster of Miitopia. But they didn't just bring Miitopia back, they also took the steps to elevate the customization of Miis to the next level. We could customize our Mii's faces with decals like in a racing game, letting us introduce new characters in ways we never could before, and it was awesome. There were just so many cool and unnecessarily detailed Miis now, all being laughed at and admired by thousands of people. I'm no pro when it comes to this stuff, but even I managed to make some Miis I'm proud of. This game introduced Mii's 2.0, and Sports would have been the second most perfect game to build off of that attention with. Tomodachi Life would have been better, since the new customization definitely wouldn't have come back with Sports, but Sports was still a fantastic title to capitalize off of it with too. Miitopia was something of a lifeline for the Miis, since on Switch they've fared poorly, being playable in Smash Ultimate, which is obligatory since everyone came back, Mario Kart 8, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and Go Vacation, all re-releases they were playable in before. There were also avatars in Mario Maker 2, and that was it till Miitopia. I mean, there's technically Breath of the Wild 2, but come on. They even got axed from the Olympics, though that was published by Sega, and there is no non-Nintendo published software on Switch that features Miis. Far cry from the Wii era. Anyways, the Miis became synonymous with Nintendo during the Wii's lifetime, and were, in a sense, the definitive look for Wii, at least a part of it. Switch doesn't have a set theme, and Nintendo's been trying lots of different looks for Switch. ARMS, snipper clips, 1-2 Switch, Ring Fit, and now Switch Sports with the Playmates. However, despite everything I've just been saying for the past 2 minutes, despite how much I stated I dislike them, and despite Nintendo attempting to slowly phase out the Mii's inclusion in games, while also randomly giving them brief time in the limelight, I don't quite get their thought process with these guys. I'm cool with them now. When these guys were first introduced, I was crushed. I didn't like them, not one bit. I wanted to see the Miis crash back onto the scene with a glorious new spotlight shining directly at them. But after seeing the Playmates up close and in motion, they're kinda cute. I enjoy the dollish look, seeing how the light shines and shades their models. They look nice and soft. They're still far less appealing than the Miis with the realistic bodies and the contrasting too simple but not simple enough heads. But the care that was put into making the game feel the same convinced me to just let it go. Spin it like this. It's still our game, just with a new cast jumping into it for the first time alongside us. They're here to have fun with new activities, but we, the veterans, are here to relive the fun of years ago, and these are the people we'll be sharing that experience with. It feels kinda wholesome put like that. Keep in mind, I wouldn't even be accepting them if they hadn't at least made Mii's playable in the game. That is the bare minimum that had to be done. Some people are hoping that Mii's can be made to be the opponents, but did you see those bodies? No way, not happening. I know Mii's have always had wildly different looks, ball hands, no limbs, different body shapes, but these are obviously bodies not designed for them. Though I guess the champions of old are just gonna remain in the games of yore. Matt, Lucia, Tommy, Ryan, and all the rest. Speaking of the games of yore, I wondered if leveling up would return again, and looking at the UI in the Direct, it seems that it will. After reaching your first requirement of 100 levels, you'll receive a gift, likely clothing, and it'll probably bump up as you level up. I assume we'll be gifted clothing, but we might be able to unlock such brilliant titles as 100%, or Born. Also, there's going to be a Pro League, which might be unlocked at a certain level, though it's probably just going to be available from the get-go. Glad to know leveling up will still be present, but I wonder if there'll be unique sportsmates to face off against, like the previously mentioned champions. Imagine they just casually bring Matt back, that'd be hilarious. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. During the loading screens, different messages pop up, including a new take a break message, as well as some tourist tips, one of which mentions the amenities of Sepulchre Square. Now, I don't think we'll be able to buy food or go to work in the game, but we might be able to go shopping, and while that would probably just be tied to an overview menu like the sports themselves, it might mean we get to walk around Sepulchre Square. It'd definitely be a very small section of the square, but even that would be nice. Maybe we could see other people's characters standing around like in Splatoon or something. It wouldn't be much, but it would be sort of like a island flyover, kind of, maybe, sort of. Just like a little free roaming area. Okay, I don't know how to smoothly transition to the end, so... So that's it. I really just wanted to complain about the sportsmates for a bit. The enemies, as some people call them. To be honest, it's been kinda nice seeing all the Mii fans around town come out and speak their mind on this weird move. Reminds me that there's actually a lot of people who really like these guys, and that's fun. Final thoughts. The price of the game is a little surprising to me. Only 31? I guess Nintendo realized they couldn't charge 60 for what is now quite a small game. I hope they'll add at least 3 to 4 more sports after golf, because 6 sports and golf really isn't enough for a new game in this 16-year-old franchise. I'd love to see frisbee golf, table tennis, cycling, or boxing. Those would all be fun, but I'll take whatever. I am genuinely excited to play the game and collect all the clothing, try all the challenges, do everything it lets me do. I just really hope the online stays good. We still have 3 new sports to check out next month, plus that Pro League, so that'll probably get pretty spicy. Maybe that'll be the replacement for Champions. And okay, that's it. Stay hydrated and remember not to be a jerk to everyone around you. And with that, have a good day. Or night. Oh, this just in. Apparently we can play as a squirrel. What?